Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast, episode 558. The official Detroit Lions podcast Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is the gorgeous as ever, Ash, Mr. Tweetson Thompson. How you doing, brother? Nope, we dropped him. We'll keep going. We'll pick it up. Don't worry. He'll be back in a second. I'm certain of it. That was weird. I was just talking to him. All right. Well, we got a lot to talk about. What did we do? We FTV'd. That's exactly what we did. Holy cow. We're getting a little crazy here. I gotta tell you, this is the hardest. This is the hardest one that I've watched even before it started. This one had my heart beaten. It was one I wanted really, really bad. This was a big win for this Detroit Lions franchise. We'll get into it. We will talk and rock and get into all that stuff. We'll take your calls. We'll cover Coach Campbell's post-game presser. We'll see if there's any tears on the opposing side presser. And we'll take your calls like we did. I said that, but we'll do it anyway. I got a whole lot going on. Ash, you ready to go? You know what I mean?
Let's kick this off and break it down.
He's back. He's back. Just as I said that.
Yep.
How you doing, man? How are you? Like, dude, tell me that you thought this was going to be a defensive powerhouse game for the Detroit Lions this week.
Yeah, that's exactly how everybody wrote it up, right? I mean, the telltale signs were there. You know, the Lions had been coming off of allowing an average of more than 30 points a game for the last 4 weeks. So, of course, to cap off the season, they only allow 9 to one of the best offenses in the NFL this year. That's that's how this team's been all year. The way you think they're going to win never seems to really be the way that they end up winning. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, once the horses started to trot and then into the gallop in the third and the fourth quarter, it was like, okay, I'm feeling it. And you could tell that defense on Minnesota at the end. I mean, the fact that they kneeled it down even, right? I mean, they had given up before it was over. They knew they were a beaten team. Yep. And if we happen to see each other again, they may say, oh yeah, well, this is a grudge game now. No, man, this is in their head. They gave up on that field. They took the loss well before the game was over. This is one of those. This is great. This is freaking great, man.
Yeah. Someone in the chat was saying that they thought Dan Campbell, like from, reading the lips, said something like, see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
At the end of the game.
Yeah, it sounded like he said see you in a few weeks, but maybe it was 2. It could have been 2. We'll see. It won't be 2
Well, if they're the only wild card team that wins, it will be them again. That's yeah. I suspect they won't be, though. I'm thinking this could be a very NFC North heavy playoff season this year.
Yeah.
Because if the Vikings and Packers both win next week, which there's really no reason to think that there is not a very good chance of that happening, then it would be Packers next week or the week after. And if Minnesota managed to win their second game, then it would be Minnesota again. And that's if we're gonna win the Super Bowl, that's how I want to do it.
Yeah, we absolutely Van Ginkel. We kicked him right in the Van Ginkel. I mean, there's no question about it. And they dropped to their knees.
Some balls at a Van Ginkel, that's for sure. Man, it's amazing how even when this team looks like they are just not clicking offensively at all, they still end up with more than 30 points scored at the end of the game. Like it's madness.
Yeah,
it was a terrible first half. Like that might be the second worst half of football we've ever seen Jared Goff play, and like it was a lot of that was on Jared Goff. The offensive line was having a rough time, but they weren't making him throw a ball on a screen pass that didn't get more than 6 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
It just it's crazy. Like it's everything went wrong, and then the guy that everybody said the Lions had no business drafting goes out and runs up 4 touchdowns and single-handedly wins a game that makes them the number 1 seed. Once again, proving nobody knows more than Brad Holmes.
It was great on the tweet machine. I saw him. He was, or the X machine, whatever you call it now. He was like, "Oh, positional value." Again, all the screaming that went on. And here we are with Jack Campbell and Gibbs and just tearing up that field, just looking so good out there. Traveling Man, thank you for the super chat. Love that, man. So happy I don't have to try and get Rams tickets. Mets next week. Yeah. And yeah. I don't know, man. The Rams and Vikings is going to be a big time game. That's going to be a big time game. Watching Green Bay today. They may be done. They may already be done, man. Wow.
That's the thing with the NFL. Nothing ever carries over from week to week. You know what I mean? Except the greatness of the Detroit Lions this season. As long as we're doing a post-game show. Yes. That's the key thing. We have to be doing a post-game show.
100%.
100% of the time, it works every time.
Yep, 100% of the time, it works every time.
The only 2 games we couldn't do this year are the 2 losses. It's hilarious.
Unlike Sex Panther, right? Bates down there. This is that's only 60. We got a bunch of super chats coming in. Thank you, everybody. Flounder, thank you for your super chat. On the 12th day of Christmas, what true love gave to me. Detroit wins number 1 seed, and on the 12th day of Christmas, true love gave to me. Detroit wins the number 1 seed. Got it. I can't sing, so I'm going to leave that be. Thank you, Flounder. Jacob Strand, another Vikings matchup, smothered 30 points for the offense on a bad day. Another Lions-Vikings matchup. God, I'm having a hard time reading. Sorry about that. Thank you, Jacob Strand, for the super chat. Nolan Bronkema. Anzalone is the key. Thanks for the great regular season. Cheers. Thank you, Nolan, for the super chat and joining us. Love Anzalone coming back and the impact he had. We'll definitely have to talk about that. Another super chat here to hit. I got to hit Kirk Morgan. Thank you as well. Darnold got nailed by more dudes than the Kardashian sisters. So that one dude who did the 100-person train, that's what he had to feel like today. I forget her name, but whatever. You know what it is.
Yep.
We played, right here, Perry Ball, the NFC North was a tough division this season. It absolutely was. And not only do we play the toughest division, we played a first place schedule and the tough ass division, and tied the best record in the league this year and took home field advantage, the number 1 seed in the NFC. There's a lot to be said for the power of this Detroit Lions team. There's a lot to be said for what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have built.
It's the best Detroit Lions team in the history of the team. I don't think there's even a question about that. And that's with 12 guys on IR right now. They still did that. Like, that's all those years where I was just sitting here saying, okay, yeah, the refs screwed up, but good teams win anyway. This is what's happening right now. There were a lot of really awful refereeing calls that would have been our entire show.
Yeah.
4 years ago. That's all we would have been talking about for 2 hours. We would have just had people calling in complaining about, a couple missed calls here, or like a really touchy pass interference call that was made against us, or various things like that. Now we're sitting here talking about how I don't think there's more than 2 guys that were drafted after Jahmyr Gibbs that had 4 touchdowns this season, let alone in 1 game. So there's a lot of freezing cold takes being brought up right now all over various places. Like, Ben Solak is not having a good night.
Here on Mark, Lions can do without Aiden and a dozen other guys. Chris and Ash are essential. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Boys came to play tonight. They absolutely did. That defense, we'll be talking about some stats, but that defense out there today was fan-freaking-tastic. The rush that they put on against a really, really good offensive line too, and the protection. The first half was tough, but the protection they put against that defensive line and Van Ginkel and company, I love saying his name, this team believes that they have Minnesota's number. And they may tell you that they see you in 2 weeks. They prefer that because they are really, really confident against this Minnesota team. And you could tell Kevin O'Connell was just, He had the 1,000-yard stare on that sideline. He had nothing for anything. It was fantastic to watch.
Zero answers.
He's been saying this for a little while now. Just wait till you see me. You can talk all you want. Just wait. And he tonight was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic, baby.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. When they signed him, I said at the time, like this guy, like don't get caught up on the height thing. This guy is an outside corner. That is what he does. That's what he's good at. And we just watched him. I don't want to say nullify Jefferson, because the Lions never seem to really nullify Justin Jefferson. But like 3 catches, 54 yards. That's his day.
Absolutely.
That's probably one of his worst 2 or 3 games of the season when it matters most.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing you want to see from your 5'6" corner.
Yeah.
Going against the guy who is probably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this post-game show, this celebration. We'll keep watching. We'll have Dan Campbell's post-game presser. We'll have Jared Goff's post-game presser. And we will continue to watch for the Vikings to put their presser on as well. See a little bit of Kevin O'Connell tears. We usually run theirs a little short because they get boring pretty quick, but those first couple comments are absolutely essential and fantastic. Michelle Cox, the Hymns Rock Hard Player of the Week, Jahmyr Gibbs. Good choice, Michelle. Good choice. We're rocking this. We're rocking this.
Tough to argue.
6 super chats in here today already. Stephen Mosier, DLP postgame wins another one. Go Lions. Thank you. We got a target of 10.
100% us.
100%. I mean, we carry this team. Let's be honest. I mean,
absolutely.
It's the only thing that's 100%. We're shooting for 10 to keep these post-game shows running and keep our 100% streak of wins for post-game shows going. Looking for 4 more target super chats here today. Oh, Jacob Strand, thank you, sir. Some national media caught Nick Wright cough. Dang it. Having trouble here with the controls. Sorry. Some national media caught Nick Wright cough has some explaining to do. Some national cough. Nick Wright cough has some explaining to do. Got it, Jacob. I promise I'll read them better. Kings of the North.
No, you won't. People don't tune in for some level of competency.
Yeah.
That's not what we do here.
Man. Rixie, Jacob Strand cannot like that one enough. AG earned himself a head coaching spot after night. I absolutely believe he did. He did a fantastic job out there. He's had a great season. I will say I'm not, there's a lot of people talking, and every year they get talking a little funny about things that they don't know nothing about. I'll just say, I don't think that Ben is going anywhere this year. And it's part of because of how smart he is. He knows where he needs to improve, and he knows what he needs to work on. And I think he's going to do that because he doesn't want to be a one and done guy. I'm going to give you percentages here because, things change as people move through, and there's still football to play, and there's still, maybe a championship in the future here, which could change some calculus. But even if the Lions went 4 and whatever next year, he's still going to be a hot commodity. It's not his stock is not going to go away as far as head coaching potential. So he's got a couple of opportunities in the next couple of years to go. And I'm 85% that he's in Detroit next year. I am really low on AG being here, but AG really, they both deserve a run.
AG really wants one of those jobs. You know what I mean? Like that's what he came here for, was to be the next guy who was going to get a head coaching job. Like that was the whole point of him taking this gig, So the first time he will definitely take the first job that's offered. We pretty much have known that since the day he came, that's the order of business. He didn't start coaching when he was 25 and work his way up and get into a spot where he could get interviews by the time he was 30. You know what I mean? He played until he was Gruden's head coach age, So like the man does not have the advantage of being the younger guy who has plenty of time to kind of work his way up slowly if he wants to. Like he may only ever get one shot. Plus there's
I think we lost Ash again. His internet is just cursing him. Let me hit Max Friends. Addison had more speeding tickets this year. Oh, wait, Ash, you're tweaking in? You're tweaking out? You're tweaking out, Ash. Max, yeah, hold on, Ash. We'll see if we can get you back. Max Friends, Edison had more speeding tickets this year than catches this game. I love that for sure. Let me hit Floundericious is looking for a couple of
these nuts.
That's right. Oh, wait, Addison, here, I got something for you. Oh, I don't. I got wait.
These nuts.
There we go. Yeah, it takes a second to reset. There you go. Loving that. And then Isaiah Burns took his message back, but Isaiah, thank you for the super chat. There we go. It's his first super chat on a live stream. There we go. 101
all
from
right.
the goal already. Okay, you're back, Ash. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You had petered out, and I didn't want to leave us there just staring at your frozen face.
I absolutely forget what I was saying. Halfway through, I was like, I have frozen. Okay, great. How about Jahmyr Gibbs? Just to get back on that topic.
Gibbs, 23
12
carries.
23. When he was at 12, he was averaging 3.5. How many coaches have we had who would have just stopped at that point? They would have immediately quit running the ball. They would have thrown Craig Reynolds in there, Jamar Jefferson, try to figure something else out. Particularly because he very clearly got hurt early in the game. Like there was no doubt at all. And I don't know if a second half resurgence had anything to do with some medical things that happened at halftime or what we're talking about. But when he at 23 carries, he was averaging 6 yards per carry. So all I know is in the second half, they stuck with their guy. He crushed it.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between this Lions team and every other Lions team is like they're doing the right thing. They know they're doing the right thing. So when it doesn't go well immediately, they keep doing the right thing.
Yeah.
They don't panic. There's no panic in this team, and you'll love to see it.
Yeah, they truly do believe in themselves and their plans, and it's when you see what they're doing, it's hard not to just trust in it. And seeing our guy Brad Holmes out there, you hear the national media talking crap this week, thinking the Lions are this, the Lions are that, and Brad, I mean, he was in an interview with a Minnesota radio station, and they said, "Hey, we think we're going to stomp you," and he just gave him the old.
Matter of fact, the fuck up out my face, goddammit! I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
And they saw it.
That's right.
They saw it. They felt it. Thank you, Slew Shark, for the super chat. Also, Jeff Merrill, he says it. I'm from Detroit, MFer. Don't play with me. Ooh, Terry on injury didn't look good. I saw Dr. Liao's tweet on that. He likely turf toe is what Ross is saying that Dr. Liao said. I saw what Dr. Liao said earlier, and it looked like an ankle, or he said the way it turned, it was weird, but it looked like it's a high ankle, but they're reporting a foot, and so now it sounded like turf toe. So hopefully turf toe versus a high ankle, because
yeah,
that's painful too, though. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no.
Yeah, those both suck. Anything that could happen on that particular play is just awful and super painful. So I hope it's just something that's not terribly bad.
Way too many bones and way too many nerves in those feet, man. Way too many of both of those things.
And the thing is, when you start screwing them up, it messes with everything else because you can't put your weight on it. So you're doing weird things with your knees. You're doing weird things with your hips. You're doing weird things with your back. And it just cascades,
Yeah. It's like me doing the salsa.
Guaranteed to cause an injury? Yeah,
yes,
probably.
Guaranteed pain for everybody in the room. Oh, man. All right. So let's talk about that. Jahmyr Gibbs, in the end, 23 carries for 139 yards and a 6 yard per carry average. So halfway through those carries, as you were saying, he was at 3 yards a carry, averages 6 on the game. Asking in the chat, was Anzalone the difference? Anzalone out there, my God, my guy is so, you love the high motor thing. His heart.
Yep.
I love his heart. God almighty. I think I saw him on the sideline in the Buffalo game. He was working the crowd. He was working the players, the team. He was coaching. I mean, he is a big part of the heart of this team. And, I love it. Absolutely love what he brings. I think he was absolutely a difference maker out there, and let Aaron Glenn do what Aaron Glenn did on the field today. Ash.
Oh, absolutely. His ability to take on TJ Hawkinson, which we bluntly did not have someone who wasn't going to be able to do that. And Hawkinson was 2 catches for 9 yards today. And you could very easily, with Alex Anzalone not on the field, see that having been, 10 catches for 150, bluntly, just because we just don't have like that, or Brian Branch has to do that.
Yeah.
As opposed to all of the other things Brian Branch was doing tonight. That's the two things. Like, it's a complete 100% game changer to have that guy out there, despite everybody saying that you don't need good linebackers. Aaron Glenn has been absolutely crushing it in regards to, having his first round linebacker, and then you stick another guy on there who's the only other legitimate starter they have as a linebacker right now. And this is the result. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just madness.
Mr. Relax 79, been watching and following this team since I was 10 years old, and Barry Sanders was a rookie. FTV, FTP, and FDNFC. Let's roll each home game and let's enjoy some New Orleans cuisine in a few weeks. I'm with you, man. I mean, the NFC North, the NFC runs through Detroit, period. We're not going anywhere till we go to New Orleans. And I've said it, this absolutely feels like destiny. I mean, it truly, this year, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, but there's something, I'm just feeling it, man. I'm telling you, it feels like it's this year, the Lions' fate is just destiny. The calls we saw that in that first half and the doubt creep, it was just to make for a great drama. It was great for a great story arc. I mean, the NFL could not have asked for a better first half of the last game of the season. And then even the finish, I mean, how the game played out, it may have been, I would have loved to see the faces of some Vikings fans along the way. But I think in their heart, folks that were watching this really, really kind of get that sense, love the underdog, watching the Lions come up and watch them really turn it on and put on the power. I mean, this is the one thing that's real about this team is when you watch them and you try to watch other football now, other football just looks so
terrible,
bad. And
so
I remember
awful.
watching the Lions for so many years and saying, why do all these other teams, why is it so smooth? Why does it look so, why is it always so janky for us? What's the problem? We sucked. I mean, you see,
bad coaching and bad, yeah. That's what it came down to for all those years. Who knew?
What a difference it is to watch good football. A good team playing good football. Oh, fantastic, man. Good thing the Vikings spent that $2 million on tickets and then resold them to Lions fans.
Yeah.
That was.
I love that so much. Just all Vikings fans getting tickets for $300 and reselling them for $9.
Oh, man. Let's see. Garrett Fought. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Can we consider the mythical roar officially restored yet? Have a good night, gents. I'm
more games.
Roar. I think the roar is back. And I think it's back because I think, I'm not even going to put it out there, but no matter
last year, honestly,
it was, yeah. No matter what happens this year, I think we're going to have a roar for years to come. That's how this team's built. Yeah. We're what, number 4, number 5 in cap space next year already, and we've got this team, and we got Smith,
$95 million in cap space,
and we got Hutch coming back. You think we're going to pre-sign some guys and get that taken? Oh my God!
Well, Smith has an $11 million extension we have to pick up, so I mean that'll drop us down 5 or 6 spots there. But oh no, we're only going to be 10th,
and we're going to have Smith and Hutch across from
coming
each
off
other.
the Super Bowl win.
Think about that. What that defense looks like, man. Holy cow! Holy cow!
Very, very pleasant offseason to be looking down the barrel of, for sure.
Yeah. Super chat.
Almost going to be boring to talk about.
Flounder, thank you, sir, for the super chat. Chris, I literally thought watching the end of the Bears and Packers that we used to be that Bears team. Dude.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%. Like, we came out with a field goal at the end. Like, yeah. Those teams are both 1-6.
How many quarterbacks did we ruin?
Oh, man.
by firing a coach every 3 years and then drafting one in the last year of a coach's contract, and then that quarterback has to deal with a new coach in the first year, all the way up to Stafford.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That whole, like, they're in their Millen period right now.
Yeah, they
which,
absolutely
like, kind of sucks for them, and they're totally sticking with Poles, and it's exactly what I said was going to happen last January. That's what I love about this so much. So I was like, you can see this. Like, this is what is going to happen if they draft this quarterback. Here's the dominoes that fall from that, and every single thing I said has absolutely come true.
Yeah.
Beautiful to watch. You gotta love it. Now
So
they're going to hire some offensive guru whose system doesn't really fit the quarterback that they have. And then in 2 years, we're going to be talking about why they're doing it again as their general manager gets fired.
Isn't that beautiful?
It really is.
And the Bears, the fans, the talk, the so much out of even the Vikings and the Packers, like everyone this week was like, not this week, the Bears weren't talking, but the Packers and the Vikings have been talking for a bit. Yeah. And it's been to see what's happened and how silly they look and they must feel right now is absolutely fantastic. Okay. We've got
keep talking. Just come here and win. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Come here and get one on. All right. We got Jared Goff on the podium. So let's grab him.
Excellent.
All right. How about it? Thank you, guys. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. I don't know what his numbers were, but he was impressive. And we kind of came into this one knowing we were going to need him to be. And he played his tail off, and our offensive line blocked their tails off. And he was special today, and we needed him to be. Yeah.
To hold that team out of the end zone, have some crucial stops inside the 5-yard line. I mean, they may just be playing their replay all day.
I can't say enough good things about what they did tonight. I mean, it's unbelievable. And again, everyone keeps writing out how injured they are and depleted, and they don't care. It's next man up, and played their absolute tails off today. And that's a damn good offense they just played, and no touchdowns, right? I believe, yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable what they did. They bailed me out a couple times, bailed us out offensively a couple times, and team win. We appreciate it. They were unbelievable.
Jared, what's the significance of you going through all the way week 18 battle
to
win the division, to walk out of that room and talk to us wearing that shirt that time?
Feels pretty good. You never know how it's going to play out as the season goes on, but when it comes down to week 18 for all the marbles in the division, it feels good to be on this side of it and to know we get a little bit of rest here now and 2 home games and then we'll go from there.
Maybe a little tough to do in the moment, but can you sort of put into where's the big picture of everything that you accomplished here over 4 years and sort of this being the cherry on top so far?
Not the cherry on top. No, not yet. It's fun. It's what we talked about when we first got here. Certainly when I first got here was what the opportunity you dream about is being able to win division championships in the NFC North and then ultimately win Super Bowls, and that's what's next for us. I think this is fun and exciting, and we obviously wanted it really bad. We're going to enjoy the heck out of it, but it's step one. And in some other world it would have happened a few weeks ago, and we'd be having this conversation a few weeks ago, but it happened week 18, and it had to happen the way it did, and everything happens for a reason, and now we need to enjoy this and then get ready to go win another one.
Can you exhale and realize how important it really was probably to get this extra week of rest because of the injuries and everything else? And now can you say that?
I will never count our guys out with injuries. Never. Yeah, sure. To answer your question, yes, getting the rest with injuries absolutely helps. But what our defense has done with the amount of guys they've had out, and they don't care. They don't flinch. They don't care. And it's a mentality. It's who they are. It's what Dan breathes into them. It's what AG breathes into them. And it's just who they are just as humans. They don't care. You keep taking guys out, they don't care. They just keep on coming, and they're a dangerous crew right now.
That's in a different world than you guys mentioned earlier, but is there something that you can gain from having a fight to finish on this all the way to Sunday night of week 18?
Yeah, I mean it's an awesome moment, absolutely. Yeah, it's really cool, and we knew coming into it was for everything in the division, and it was. Dan joked about it. We like it hard. Yeah, it was the hard way, and we had to do it the hard way, and yeah, it was a hard game too, and certainly offensively we struggled a bit early on to kind of stay ahead of schedule and score points. But I thought we hung in there nicely, and that second half was really good.
As a fellow leader on this team, what's it say about Anzalone to be able to come back in this game and play like every defensive snap?
He's a stud. He's an absolute stud, and he's just been chomping at the bit to get back, and this was the perfect game for him to come back to play man coverage and to cover TJ. And we know he's a hell of a player, and Alex I thought played great. I'm not watching their tape or anything, but to me it looked like he was playing pretty well, and he's an energy guy. He brings a lot of energy to that defense. He's a leader. He's a captain. Having him back out there is huge.
Fourth down play for the
Yeah.
Is that something you guys thought coming in?
Yeah, we have it a part of our offense. At certain times we'll pull it out, and we've been pretty successful with it. So, yeah.
So a couple more guys?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
We saw Draymond his first 1,000 yards.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
How much did you want to get that for?
Yeah, I'm so proud of him, man. He's come such a long way, and he's such an integral part of our team now. And yeah, that 1,000 was cool for him. He deserves it, and he probably deserves more yards than that. But he's done a hell of a job holding himself to a really high standard and demanding more of himself. And I'm super proud of him.
Can you speak to the leadership you get with this franchise from Sheila down to Brad and Dan and then the locker room?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, Sheila's been as good as it gets across the league, and I always think back to when she stood in front of all you guys and spoke that week. That was as strong as it gets, putting her faith in Dan and Brad and all of us. And a lot of owners won't do that. They don't do that, and it's a lot easier to pull the plug in certain situations. So, yeah, what she's done, and then obviously trickles down to Brad and Dan and to all of us. It's been a fun team to be a part of, and I couldn't be happier.
You haven't been in there yet. Can you just describe the locker room?
Pretty fun. Yeah, pretty fun.
Because there is a Super Bowl, what is the celebration like right now? Is it muted? Is it you realize that this is a huge accomplishment, so you can celebrate this and then move on?
Yeah, it's a huge accomplishment, but like I said, and we said it in there, like, it's step one. And again, like in another world, it happened a couple weeks ago, but it happens right now, and now the playoffs start. But it's step one, and we're proud to be 15-2 NFC North Division champs, back to back, 1 seed, bye week, all that stuff. We're proud of it, but this is just tick number 1, check, and tick number 2 is next.
Thank you guys. Dan Campbell next, and
Good.
Meek Robertson and Alex Anzalone at the podium as well.
All right, there you go. Amik Robertson, Campbell's next. Alex Anzalone. Whew. We'll keep watching for all that. I think we're just going to get Coach Campbell, but I'm okay with that. If you're okay with that, Ash. I mean, I don't want to.
I mean, I would happily just watch all of the press conferences and talk about them, but we got to do other stuff. I don't want to step
on your toes.
Let's talk about Jared Goff quickly.
Please.
Let's talk a little bit about Jared Goff's season, because we have the season now. We have all 17 games. We know exactly what he's done. And what he did is 4,628 yards, 37 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 71.7% completions. Actually, that's going to be a little different. That one I didn't redo the math on. I apologize to everybody, but it's going to be over 70. It's crazy. Success rate is almost 5 points higher than it was last year. Yards per attempt is about a yard more than it was last season. Adjusted yards per attempt, it's almost basically about 1.5 higher with that one, and that's based on getting with all the interceptions and yada 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 taken into account. Per completion is 1.5. It's 1 higher. His yards per game is actually only about 5 yards more, but his rating, his just old school passer rating, is 16 points higher than it was last season, and it was almost 100 last year. It is amazing what Jared Goff has accomplished as a Detroit Lion in his 4 seasons with this team. He was dead in the water. You always talk about people, talking about how he was a throw-in on the trade. But the thing is, from the Rams side, he was a throw-in on that trade. They just wanted to get rid of his contract. That's why he was part of that deal. They couldn't have him and Stafford on the books at the same time. We got extra picks for taking on the terrible deal for the washed-up quarterback that was a bust. And turns out, no, that's not what he was. That's not what he was. And I remember it felt like I was standing on a mountain screaming into a rainstorm about how maybe you don't take the guy who's not very athletic, and make him do naked bootleg rollouts every third pass.
Yep.
Maybe that's not what he's going to be good at, and people were like, oh, his best stuff is off of play action, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, tell me you didn't watch a single game without telling me you didn't watch a single game. Because not the naked boots, the straight back play action. Yeah, that stuff was working great. But like it just, what they did is they just took and they built an offense around what his skill set is, what he is good at, what he is capable of, as opposed to trying to force him into, the old square peg round hole thing, like they didn't try to break him down so they could build him back up. Like he was as broken as a person can be when he came to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
All they had to do was build him up. So I'd just like to thank Sean McVay for being a tool. And
an absolute
on behalf of
tool.
all Lions fans, thank you, Sean McVay, for being an absolute piece of human garbage.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. The most fantastic. And I got to tell you, the thing I just kind of want to say, Lions fans, it's okay, but just own it. Don't be the person that doesn't, right? Because nobody's perfect all the time. Nobody's right all the time.
No.
But I was right on this one. And you need to bow down to your Jared Goff God and recognize that you didn't see it. You didn't see it in that first year, and you thought that oh no, it's not that he has nobody to throw to. That Quintez Cephas was a superstar,
Lions fans, man.
Right? Yeah.
Some relatively smart Lions fans were saying just idiotic, dumb things. You know what I mean?
And media too. Like smart media members.
Media always says dumb things.
But even smart ones.
That is also true. It's one of those things like, when you're starting wide receivers, your 1 and your 2 are 2021 Khalif Raymond and Tom Kennedy, you're not going to win that game.
Yeah.
Period. End of sentence. Your quarterback is dead.
Yeah.
Unless he's Josh Allen and he's just going to run for 80 yards or Lamar Jackson or something like that. But you put a pocket QB in a spot where he's got nobody to throw to at all and no running backs at that point, like as much as you love Swaggy and Swifty, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Like they were not 1/10 as good as the guys we have right now. And we did not have the offensive line built to the level that it is at this point in that first season. Penei Sewell was on the team, but he was a rookie Penei Sewell, which is still pretty darn good, but not what it is now where you have how often do commentators talk about the right tackle on a team for 10 minutes in the middle of a game, and not even about what he's done right now, not what he's doing in this game, but just about how amazing he is over the course of the entire season. It's just what these guys have built is just incredible, man. And I absolutely love it. Because every week we get some tool bags in here talking about how their team should have won. And this week, you know what we have? We have crickets because our team just beat the living hell out of the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. And there is no question about who was the better team today.
Wouldn't have been.
And that was a good team.
Yeah. No.
They're the second best team in the NFC
teams in the league,
that we just stomped.
Probably one of the top 3-4 teams in the league until today. And now you look at, and I forgot who said it. Sorry, I missed it, but I did put it up on the screen in the chat. The Lions swept the number one league or team in the NFC North. They swept the whole conference. So the whole division. Just remember that, because that's big. These are the best teams and some of the best teams in the NFC. And 2 potential first, number 1 seeds in the NFC just played tonight, and we swept them too. And that's big. That's big. We got Dan Campbell coming up here in mere moments, as it were. I just got to get here. Okay. He'll be up on the podium. We'll get him. We're not going to have any Minnesota. They turtled on their post-game coverage. So, it's like they did in the game. They just kind of pulled back into the shell and left their little.
Well, you didn't show up for one. Why would you show up for the other?
Exactly.
Hey, how's it going? Man, what a win. What a win. Guys, I can't say enough about our defense. Let me start there, man. AG and this defense, they really, controlled that game for us, particularly the first half, 2.5 quarters. The guys on defense, I thought, executed exactly the way that we we had worked and what we had talked about, we were able to apply a lot of pressure, and it just paid dividends. That's a good team over there. They're well coached. Kevin O'Connell does a great job. Ton of weapons, and we were able to contain them and keep them at bay until our offense was able to, to find our rhythm. So just total team effort. Started with our defense, and took the whole unit. But man, what a great job! Back to back division winners in the NFC North. Got the 1 seed, 15 wins. I just couldn't be more proud of those guys. And I just told them that to me this has been in the making for a while. It takes a special group of guys, and I think you kind of had to go through what we've been through over the last 4 years, the core of this unit, and then anybody that comes in, they fall in line because that's what we're built around is our core, and they really delivered for us today. Our playmakers made plays when we needed it.
Stay with the defense. Just how big of a boost was Alex today too?
With who?
Alex.
It was huge. Look, I've said it before. He's really our quarterback on defense. He's our quarterback on defense, and he just brings. There's a lot of confidence. He brings a lot of energy. He can calm the storms. He just to have him back, and I thought it was going to take him a minute to work himself back in, and it didn't take long at all. And he was back to what he was before he got injured, I thought. So, hell, we gave him a game ball. So, it was outstanding. So to have him back was it was huge.
You said a couple of days ago you really like what AG had put out for the defensive game plan.
Yeah.
Just explain why you guys took the approach you did, even Sam off, and then on top of that, the red zone defense.
Yeah, great job there. And it was really, you look at all this, Darnold has really played better and better every week. It feels like he's just continued to make this gradual climb and continue to improve. And what you really see is, man, when he gets the play action pass and they nudge the edges or they'll max protect on some of this stuff, 2 receiver routes, 3 receiver routes, and he can see it and has time, he's deadly. And we could not allow that to happen. We didn't feel like there was any way we could let him sit back there because we did think he would pick us apart, if you give him that much time, because he was playing at such a high level with the weapons they had. And so we knew it needed to be the right balance of coverage and pressure. And we tried to bring more than they could handle for most of it. And then we had to hold on the back end, and those guys did, man. They covered their tails off for most of that game. So. And then we were able to play enough to where we could double 18, take care of him, and we singled some guys up, like Alex was one-on-one with Hawk, on a number of things. And so it worked. It really worked exactly like, we kind of envisioned it to. So I couldn't be more proud of those guys. AG laid out the vision for it. The guys really showed up and performed, and, man, it was great.
Thank you, Stephen Mosier.
At a time when your offense needed a spark, how big was he tonight?
He was big, and I felt like he gained steam as the game went on. I thought he got better and better and better, and you could really feel it after that last stop we got in the red zone on the 4th down stop, and that next carry he has where he just breaks it down the sideline. You could feel it. So. He was big for us, and we felt like he was going to need to be big for us to win that game. He was kind of all those guys needed to play well for us, but we felt like, Gibbs could somewhat be the X factor here, and he did, man. He showed up in a big way in the run game and the pass game.
When you talked before about the defense being more than the savages, is kind of what you envisioned, what you meant all along?
Yeah, I think with where we're at, look, there's no secret. Like we have to be able to play a certain way, and the recipe is right as long as our guys play lights out. They do exactly what they're asked to do. They work as one unit, and and they go after the football, and if we do those things, we can be effective, and they did that today, man. I felt like they played with high energy. They did exactly what the coaches asked them to do. Everybody did their part to a T, and you see the results of it, and so yeah, it's a special group, man. It's a special group.
They may ask you questions about changing the perception of this franchise. You see it almost weekly here. To go into this historic matchup, 20 wins between the two of you guys, and to leave here as the team that gets that crown and gets a home field advantage, how do you put into words what you guys were able to accomplish this season, in the regular season so far?
I don't know if I can put it into words. There's so many things on my mind that I'm not ready to share, if that makes sense. So I'm no different than anybody else on that team, on the coaching staff, and fueled by different things. And so we did what we needed to do here. This was a big matchup. We were coming off a Monday night game against an opponent that had gotten us last year, and our guys didn't bat an eye. They line up, they compete, they play to win, and we knew what was at stake. And our guys they came out and played, and ultimately when you sit back and you go through a game like this, man, do we have enough? Did we, talking to the coaches, do we have enough in? Is this right? Is it too much? Have we really gone over the finer details of this? What if they do? And you finally step back and go, man, our guys are going to show up. They always do. Our players will show up and make plays, and because the core of this group has been doing it for 4 years now, and we've added to that, and those guys have just continued to add to it and help us along the way and enhance us, and they did it again, man. Our guys did it again.
They kicked the field goal to make it 10-9. Did the offense say something on the sidelines to say, we got your back on the defensive side, not that the defense needed it because they didn't do any points after that, but what was the mood like on the sideline?
No, we were good. Our defense we had talked about all along. We knew we were going to need to play a certain type of game, and it didn't totally play out that way because of circumstance. But our defense was ready. If things didn't go right, our defense was fully ready to take the field and do what they needed to do. That was the mindset, and you don't walk onto the field, you sprint on the field, and you got to get a stop. And they did that, and they really set the tone for us.
Last one. Amika, a game ball last week.
He got another one.
Well, yeah, just the way that he's been playing. He's Terrianic, obviously, but what he did against Justin, even though he had some help, the way that he's played, the lift that he's giving you guys in the secondary.
Yeah, it's the reason we signed him. We were fortunate enough to be able to play against him. Had crossover tape last year. He is competitive. He's as competitive as they come. He doesn't turn down any challenge. And no matter what, you can say, hey, go cover that guy, and he's going to give you his best. He's not going to shy away from it. He's not going to fear from it. He has skill. He has ability. And it's not always going to be perfect, but you can bank on what he's going to give you. And once again, man, he showed up for us. And look, we doubled some. We fisted over him. We had to where he had to help over the top, but then we'd single him up too. And Amik's just been, he's really one of the guys that has helped us play really good defense this year and play the style of defense that we want to play and AG wants to play, to be able to challenge more on the perimeter. It's big for us. I'll know more tomorrow. I mean, it was obviously enough to where he couldn't finish a game, so take that for what it is. I'm sorry.
Did he get x-rays?
He did. The x-rays were negative, but that doesn't mean he was pretty tender. So, well.
All right, there we are. Woo.
Can I just talk about Jahmyr Gibbs a little more?
Please do. And I will, while you do that, I'm gonna put the press conferences on the side and we're gonna open up the phone lines. And why don't you tell us a little bit about Jahmyr Gibbs? Give us some love.
So Jahmyr Gibbs just put up a season that cracked the top 10 all-time rushing yardage seasons in Detroit Lions history. So And granted, it's 17 games. Let's call it what it is. He wasn't in the top 10 prior to tonight, but this vaulted him into the top 10. He now has the number 9 all-time Detroit Lions rushing season in terms of yardage, behind 1 Billy Sims season and 7 Barry Sanders years.
I was going to say, that's with Billy and Barry as two. I mean, those are two tough guys to beat.
And then the next 3 seasons after Gibbs are 2 more Barry and 1 more Billy seasons.
Hey, caller. Go ahead. Sorry. Finish up, Dash. Go ahead, Dash.
I'll do it up. Let's talk.
Hey, caller.
I forget what I was going to say, so let's just get to the caller.
Keep doing that, too. I'm sorry. Caller, what's your name? How you feeling after a giant, big, huge Dan Campbell nut-sized victory for the Detroit Lions and the number 1 seed in the playoffs?
It's Doc Zay, and you know how I'm feeling.
Doc Zay!
We drunk off the tears of the Vikings fans, and I'm still drunk off the tears of the Packers fans from earlier today. That drunkenness never went away.
That was such a great loss to watch. That was so fun.
It was. Oh man, I read through the Packers subreddit post on like the little post game. They all want Matt LaFleur fired, and just the whole. It's a fun read if you have some toilet time later on tonight.
I just might. I got some plane time tomorrow. I'll do it then. I got an early flight, but I scheduled my travel literally around this game because I knew we needed a post game show, folks. I'm gonna get like no sleep tonight, no sleep for you and for the Lions and for me. Hey Doc, I gotta tell you, Malcolm, who's a man that I love intensely. He hit us with a super chat and he says the owner spent all that money to have the fans come down here and get their ass beat and waste a vacation day. Go Lions. So early in the year, the first vacation day. Bunch of money, vacation day, flush it. Flush it, Vikings fans. Yes. Oh man, that's great.
No, this was a great win. Now from a medical standpoint, I'm real glad to hear that the X-rays were negative. My first thought when I saw it was a tib fracture or a fib fracture.
Yep.
Left fib fracture was my thought.
Yep.
And so turf toe sucks, but it's a lot better than a broken leg.
Yeah. I think it is, and it depends how severe it is. You know what I mean? Turf toe can be a big gradient of ugly. Ash, why don't you talk about what turf toe is for folks?
I'm not a doctor.
Oh yeah, Doc Zay. Why don't you talk about what turf toe is?
Turf toe is essentially like a sprain of that big toe joint.
Mm-hmm.
Where you hyperextend it. And so if you're watching that playback, you'll see that Terrion's foot kind of jams right into the ground, and it like bends the way it is. Like when you take off to start running, you know how you bend that toe?
Yep.
Well,
you kind of grip
bend
it.
it too far, that's turf toe.
Oh, jeez. Ah, man. And that's not...
It hurts like a motherfucker because you use that joint for everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
For everything, yeah.
Man. Numb it up. Use your other toast. Let's go.
Cut it off. Cut it off. The 80s.
My medical license is on the line.
Yeah, it's dangerous to be a Lions fan with a script pad, man.
I'm telling you, it's brutal right now. Throw me in, coach. Whatever you need me to write you for, I got you.
Bro, I almost had to do the 911 call to the Doc Zay because I was this game, my heart was in my throat for a ton of it. For an absolute ton of this game, my heart was in my throat. I had more anxiety from this one than I did from the playoff games last year. I don't know why, but this one had me. It had me spinning.
I think it's because the wild card route. I understand we are undefeated on the road, but not getting that first round bye with all the injuries we have, it felt like a season ender for us.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is you just watched your team win 14 games, now 15, but at the time you'd watched them win 14 games. And it's like, isn't it just the ultimate Lions thing for that team to end up with a wild card seed, have to go to the Rams of all places?
Yeah.
And now you're going to, Matthew Stafford gets the last laugh. Oh, it would have driven us nuts. Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad we get to avoid all that bullshit. Now, my hot take is I do think the Rams beat the Vikings and we get another week of Stafford Goff anyway.
Yeah.
But
let me hit you, Doc.
I'd much rather be on our turf than theirs.
Hold up for just 1 minute. I got two quick things. Ken McCain says Terrian was already gone on Instagram and said he's fine. So that's huge news. But we've got Alex Anzalone on the podium, and I would love to pull him up. Do you mind riding along with us, bro?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get
honored to be a part of this journey.
Let's get Anzalone on the podium here.
Everyone happy?
So what did that feel like running out of that tunnel and hearing that reaction of the crowd?
It was fun. Obviously it's going last and, have the opportunity to run out of the tunnel even, after being out however long, 6 weeks. It was a blessing. And, I love our fans. They're so supportive and they get excited when we need them.
Alex, what did you learn about yourself in the last 6 weeks? You've been through this injury before, different timeline, older, wiser.
Right.
What did you learn about yourself recovering from this?
It's hard. I think that, anytime you deal with an injury and soreness and pain and, you have to have, for me personally, I feel like I just committed to recovery early on and it paid off to come back a little bit ahead of schedule. And, anytime you get hurt or deal with adversity, mindset-wise, it's an opportunity to grow, and I feel like, I've grown in different ways, and you get the game taken away from you, and when you come back, it's a blessing to play again.
Also, you talked about the benefits and dangers of coming back to
the
game or waiting. What made this decision for you to come back and play?
Yeah, I think that just the volume of work Thursday and Friday, and even on Saturday, just making the decision to play was, it wasn't necessarily a clear and cut thing. There risk involved and, refracture risk, but at the same time is kind of like I talked to you guys about early in the week. Is it safe to play? Is it, worth playing? And how do I feel? So, we collaboratively made that decision and, yeah, I think. What do you tell me? You think so?
I think you played every defensive snap.
Yeah.
Workload coming in right away.
Yeah, I talked to Shep about it a little bit, and if I'm going to go, I'm going to go, and that's kind of how I'm used to playing. I'm used to playing every play, and just one of those things that I felt good to go. And
how did you feel making that first tackle when you were back?
Yeah.
How did it feel?
Yeah, I haven't tackled anyone in over 7 weeks, and obviously dealing with an arm injury, and it felt good just getting in the groove, and that first hit, you're like, okay, I'm good, and you just build confidence as you go.
What about the defensive effort overall? Just the defense covered overall, holding that team out of the end.
Yeah, first I'll start with AG. I think that he does an amazing job leading us, keeping us accountable, calling people out when they need to be called out, teaching when he needs to teach, uplift when he needs to uplift, and I haven't been around Dan and AG are hand in hand as far as best leaders I've been around, and it starts with him and guys buying into his plan and how he sees the game, the game's going to go. So the guys just rallied around what he said and his game plan, and we were flying around and played a clean game. And last few weeks we haven't played clean collectively, and that's what we did tonight.
Alex, you said that the narrative was BS, that this defense wasn't good enough to win the Super Bowl. How do you think you guys changed that narrative today?
You tell me.
The second time he said that to stupid questions.
Tonight was a statement. I think that is an opportunity to change the narrative against a really good offense, against great weapons, great running back, a quarterback that's really hot right now, and it's an opportunity for us to affect that narrative that everyone else is talking about.
How does the game go from 10-9 to total domination into 9 points?
It's just one of those games where we were clicking on defense, and we were put in some crappy situations, and the offense relied on us a little bit, and the red zone is probably the biggest factor in that limiting points, and just playing situational defense that AG always preaches.
Did you see their frustration as that went on?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can tell when a team gets frustrated, and and I get it.
How big was it for your confidence not only to make that first tackle, but a ton of reps in man coverage on Hockenson all day?
Yeah.
To keep up and feel like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I love TJ. I think I have a ton of respect for him, and coming back from that injury isn't easy. And we used to go at it in training camp a ton and compete with each other, and obviously now in the game. And I have a ton of respect for him, and he's a great player. But yeah, it's a challenge that I was singled up on him a lot with no help, and that's kind of what I do, and that's one of my attributes.
There was a point where you and Sam Darnold were walking off from a play together after you got to him pretty quickly. Do you remember what that combo was?
Probably something not friendly. I don't remember, but yeah. I was excited for this game.
I love Alex Anzalone.
What did you see or hear in Glenn's
Give him a gator chop.
that made you think this was possible?
I mean, every week he puts together a great game plan, and I'm not just saying that. I honestly think that what he calls and what he situationally and tendency-wise, it all makes sense. It's just the last few weeks, it just hasn't been clicking, and it's a lot of it's like I said from our own mistakes, not guys, just playing, flat out getting beat. I think it was just guys running into each other, biting too much up on play action pass, doing the little things, not well. And I think that that's what we're focused on this week and going forward.
When was the last time? When was the last time you were introduced last at any level? Do you remember?
I think when Aiden got hurt. After that, I started, and last year. But I understood that early this year, Aiden getting introduced last. But yeah, when Aiden's not playing, I guess I go last. I guess that's the thing.
From a human element, I mean, you sit against the wall.
All right, they called the end of that one. Nice job, guys. All right, well, we'll see if Dan Campbell comes on. Hey, Zay, we already had Campbell, so
Yeah,
I think
I'm
they're calling the end. What do you think? Is Anzalone your guy?
So yeah, I mean, we got to talk about him, right? He's the Jared Goff of the defense, and I don't think we gave him enough credit for that before his injury. But like he comes back and he doesn't mince words. He's like, no, like you weren't doing the little shit right. And he calls out exactly what the mistakes were. And it's like we're watching these games. And it's like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with the linebackers? And as he comes back, and it just seems like things got cleaned up on all three levels.
Yep.
Just with him being there.
And he didn't even come back to the green dot, though.
Person on the team, it makes sense.
The thing was, he didn't come back with the green dot, right? They left that with Campbell now, and that's interesting because that torch has been passed. Jack Campbell is that green dot. He's taking the official role of that quarterback on the defense. But Anzalone down there, I mean, he's the glue. He's helping Campbell, and I think this is now the PhD education part of Campbell's growth this year into that role. I think this is the PhD education for Anzalone to become a coach. I absolutely believe that's where what he's doing next, where he's going next. He just absolutely has that kind of capability, and you just see it in him and how he was working the team while I was hurt, while I was on the sidelines. He's got that in him, and he's got a really good head. You can see even in the press conference, he knows what to say, and he knows the dumb questions. You tell me, all that kind of stuff. So I really like this guy, man. I really like this guy.
Absolutely. I'm gonna ask two questions, then I'm gonna jump off and let other people jump on. One, I would love to just hear Ash, unadulterated, explain how he truly feels about TJ Hockenson for like 2 minutes. And then the other thing, I want to hear your ideal wild card weekend to set the Lions up for a great divisional game.
Ash, you can do 30 seconds on Hockenson, Ash, and then I'll do the setup. I think you're muted. Ash. Did you mean to be muted?
Okay, let's try that again. Yeah, I coughed in the middle of the press conference, so I had to mute that. Okay, so TJ Hockenson is my absolute 100% favorite former Detroit Lion. And the reason for that is there are two inciting incidents to the turnaround of the Detroit Lions. One is the Martha Ford press conference, wherein she said, We knew going in this was going to take a while. We are a draft and develop team. That is the plan going forward. This takes time. We knew it was going to take a while to turn around. We are not firing the head coach and GM this year. Stop talking about it. The other thing was the trade deadline deal sending TJ Hawkinson to the Minnesota Vikings, shortly after which he said the words, "I'm looking forward to winning some games." And if you look at the Detroit Lions record since that quote, I don't think they've lost 10 games since that, and it was 2.5 years ago. I don't. So I mean this in the most disrespectful way possible. Fuck you, TJ Hawkinson. But also, I love you. Does that make sense? Does that give you what you want?
Absolutely.
I don't remember what the second question was even.
TJ Hawkinson lost? Has TJ Hawkinson beaten us? I don't think he's beaten us.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because he lost both games that year. Because he lost with us, and then he lost the rematch because we beat him.
Yeah.
And I think we've swept the Vikings the last 2 years. Yeah.
All right, we're going to let you go. The phones are blowing off the hooks. And, well, we got to get the hooks to get blowing. So we're gonna let you go and move on to the next one, brother.
Sounds good. Oh, Chris, when I jump off, give us that wild card breakdown.
Yeah, okay, no problem. See you, Zay. Love you, brother.
All right, y'all.
All right, wild card breakdown. I think the best thing I could see in the wild card breakdown is the rest of the team coming back healthy. that anything else that happens in the weekend doesn't worry me because this team is absolutely on fire right now, and that rest is going to take care of anybody else that shows up. Hey, caller, what's your name? How you feeling about being the number 1 seed in the NFC?
Chris, this is Ronnie from Kansas City. I'm feeling fucking amazing. I'm about 1/2 of a fifth, so 1/10 deep of Captain Morgan and vanilla Coke.
I drank a 10th. Love it, brother. Love it.
I spread it out.
No, that's okay.
One drink at the start of the quarter, and then sip them on third downs.
That's good. I need somebody to make up for me and pick up the slack because I'm doing this dry January thing, and it's my liver's aching tonight. My wife was looking at me. She's like, just have a beer. Just make a cocktail. Just do something. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. It's not gonna break me. I'm not gonna let these. They've abused my liver enough. This time I'm in control, and I made it. But
I tried to be dry, but I'm not that guy.
Oh man, what do you got for us, brother?
Man, I am so glad that we're not talking about the Rams in the first round. Rams versus Lions, third time in, I don't know, 2 years.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a team that I don't want to play. And all year, my wife has been banging the drum against. We don't want to see the Rams. We want the Rams to lose. We want them to lose. And like, there was a game they were playing Chicago. I'm like, no, you never ever want your division team to win. She's like, no, you want the Rams to lose. The Bears aren't going to make it. And I'm like, I need Caleb broken. And then that was a point of contention for a while. But now here they are. They've made it into the playoffs. And I'm like, I don't want to face them. I really don't want to face them. I don't think we're going to lose to them. I just don't want all the circus around it because that's a distraction from Lions football. So
go Vikings.
Yeah, before the game, it's Rams versus the loser, and then prior to the Rams playing, the Rams had the 3 seed. They lost in Washington. No, not Washington. Who's the 4 seed? The Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
Buccaneers win, they move to the 3 seed, so it'd be Rams versus Lions if we lose. That's the most same old Lions shit that could ever happen to us.
Yeah.
But we're not the same old Lions.
That would be not making the playoffs.
Just a quick TJ Hawkinson thing back in your face, Ash. Skipper has more touchdowns than TJ this season. And I was there for Skip's touchdown. It was awesome. He got off. You know how Skipper's head gets red Like, he got off the field and he was fine, but the more he was talking to the guys on the sideline, that's when he started getting red and like worked up and all excited. It's hilarious. Like, you could watch it as it hit him and the realization of what happened hit him. And the funnier part was actually after he scored it, he had to stay on the field to block for the extra point. So he couldn't actually come off and celebrate. A little more fucking work. Oh, man. Anzalone for mayor. I love it. All right. So what does Captain Morgan's tell you to do in the bye week here with the Lions with their feet up watching the other teams?
Man, with the feet up, I got to rest just like the defense does. I got to get healthy, man. I got to stay dry for that week. I'm watching whoever we're going against in 2 weeks. And I got to get my mind right, man. Can we talk about Jared Goff real quick?
Oh, we can always talk about Jared Goff.
I live in Kansas City, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
I have a work buddy who has told me Jared Goff is mid since I started working there 2 years ago. How is Jared Goff mid when he's top 5 in every category that matters?
Yeah. Yeah. It's people live in an alternate reality. And a lot of people, I mean, the one thing there's an uninformed populace out there whose takes are built on the 4 games they've watched of the Rams, and they missed the when Goff was there, and they missed the Rams and New Orleans game. they just have, or Kansas City game. Sorry, the Rams Kansas City game. They just don't know what he's capable of, and they kind of heard the McVay stuff. This year they're going to have a hard time ignoring what Jared Goff is. And even the folks that saw this game, I don't know that they know what they saw with Jared Goff yet. I don't know that they know what they saw. And I think one of those games, it's bound to happen. He's gonna have one of those Goff games where he just blows them out, and it's gonna be really, really well, really well received here in Detroit. And maybe those folks will kind of get a little bit of education. But the other side of it is that the rest of them, they're trolls. That's what they do. Right? They just try to get under people's skin. That's one of the things. You just let them troll. Don't feed them. Let them wither away under the bridge.
Yeah, I try not to. This guy is dead serious. He told me that Jared Goff is a mid quarterback on a good team. I said, you want to see a mid quarterback on a good team? You look at Sam Darnold.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what we saw. That's what we saw tonight.
All right. Well, I won't take up too much of y'all's time, man. I'm glad I got in.
Yeah, appreciate you calling, brother.
Y'all off the hook. I've been blowing y'all off the hook since before you even opened the lines with Rub You Fug. Just want to close with this. I'm so glad that I can be less superstitious. I don't have to wear the same fucking outfit for every fucking game. And if I don't wear that, we're not going to win. But I will tell you right now that I got the Detroit Lions born and raised hat and the Aiden Hutchinson white jersey, and we are 3-0 when I wear that. So I might have to keep that going, but I am a little bit less superstitious.
Just a little stitious. Like Ash said, you don't have to be superstitious, just a little stitious. All right, my man.
Office quote.
All right, man.
Thank you for the call. Thanks. Love you guys too. Love you too. Enjoy that Kansas City barbecue, brother. You got some good stuff down there.
Yes, sir. Y'all take care. If you're ever out here, I'll keep tabs on you if you're ever out here.
You got it, man. For sure. All
right, sir. You have a good night.
You too. We'll talk to you, man.
Peace.
Go Lions. Sweet, man. How do we get the best people? We just got the best people.
Yeah. I like our fans.
What's up?
Hey, caller. How you feeling? Number 1 NFC champions.
What's going on? This is Cam from St. Louis.
Cam. Wow, we had Kansas City. Now we got St. Louis. We got it running.
Yes, yeah. What the hell, guys? Way to go!
How good did that feel? Tell me how good that felt. Touch the dial on where it felt the best, man.
Slightly smaller than yours.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said I got an erection that's just slightly smaller than yours.
Damn it.
2.5. Gotcha.
The video got out. Of course, I was the one that leaked it.
You hadn't sent me all those pictures, man. I wouldn't know.
I did. I tried the Kim Kardashian route, you know? It seemed to work for her.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Oh man. So what do you what
That feels so good.
tell me what was the game like for you down there in St. Louis?
It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, like, to see our players, like, to see our defense, Amik. Oh my God, Amik. What? Oh God. So good. To see our defense step up like that. And to see Anzalone come back and have that big of an impact.
Yep.
Like, I think we took him for granted, man.
I agree. I love his talk has been very confident, but not over swaggy. If that makes sense. If you look at his Twitter, I just love what his attitude and what and the brain he brings to this, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. It
blows my mind that the whole league overlooked him in 2 free agency periods. You know what I mean? Like, his first contract with the Lions was $1.5 million. His second one was $1.75 million. And like, how is that even possible? How do we get that guy 2 years in a row for that kind of money? Now,
I think honestly that what happened was he wasn't on a team and he tried to do too much. I think he was on a team that had like the support he needed, and he like puts himself out of position when he's in a position where he doesn't have people he can lean on. And so then he's now on a team where he has people around him he trusts, and now he's like able to just do his job, you know?
Yeah.
And he's good at his job.
That he absolutely is. And then going to the outside, I mean, he's an outside guy, but they're actually like, no, he's a slot guy and he's really trying outside. Like he was so good. He was so sticky out there. Man, I'm just our secondary, our depleted secondary this year is miles ahead of our starters last year. It's fantastic how much how much better they've gotten.
Dude, Vildor got a punch out. I mean, it didn't count, but it could have.
Yeah. Man.
Like, to see
everyone
Vildor
forgets with
out there,
Vildor.
man. It was like kind of like.
I think Vildor, a lot of people remember Vildor from the San Fran game, the conference championship last year, and that's made his name
like
for a lot of people.
4% away from a game-clinching interception in that game.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the thing. If he catches that ball instead of taking it off the dome, he's the hero that took us to the Super Bowl. You know?
Yeah.
Crazy, this sport,
right?
man.
That's all Dan Campbell cares about.
Yep.
Yeah, like he didn't get beat on that play at all.
What went on with Terry and Arnold? Are we worried about him?
He, according to his Instagram, he's fine. So
good.
I'm loving that. I'm on to the next. Take a week off, son. Get yourself better, and we'll see you and the boys out there. This bye is so important for this team. I mean, it is so good for these guys to get just that little bit healthier.
Yeah.
That little,
particularly because of the early bye week. You know, like just the fact that they had that early one that they desperately needed at that point too. You know, and then we get this one when we have like 4 guys who could potentially come back off IR for the playoffs. You know, like it could not have worked out better for the Detroit Lions this year.
100%.
Oh yeah, it's like you got to end a season bye. It's beautiful.
Yeah. This felt as good to me. And people are going to think what, but the year, and I talked about it, the year we beat the Packers in that last game of the season, that was kind of that passing of the torch of the division to the Lions. This felt a lot like that. This is that same kind of, we put a stamp on it sort of sense that we have arrived. And it's not just that we own the division now. We have arrived. We own the conference. That's the stamp we put out there last night. Or tonight. Oh, yes, it is last night now. But that is the stamp we put out there. And that's, I love it. I love Dan Campbell, what he's brought as far as a mentality to this team. When you've got Kittle talking about how fun it would be to play for the Lions, like other players look and see it as fun. And these guys are working their ass off. When Patricia was here and they were working their ass off and nobody thought it was fun. Everybody wanted out. You know what I mean? This is great coaching. This is a great, what a building full of intelligent people. We've talked a lot about the leadership style and how they're approaching this. And this is the fruits of all of that work.
100%. And how much did that game feel like we were playing the Rams at the beginning of the season, at the very end?
Like, we haven't had a game situation where we just, like, handed the ball off and we were getting 7 yards every play at the end of the game where the defense was just exhausted since we played the Rams in overtime.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it felt like it. It felt like we were back.
Yeah. And watching like that, as Ash talked about earlier, averaging 3 rounds of carry or 3 yards of carry for 12 carries. And then it just started going more and more. Now he's got 23 carries and 6 yards average. What happened? We wore that defense down. Collinsworth was talking about it, but before Collinsworth was saying, I'm starting to see it. I'm like, these guys don't have the gas in the tank. This is exactly what Coach was talking about out into the depths, right? And drown them. That's exactly it's exactly what we continue to do with these teams. We kick their ass and wear them out, and then just hold them under the water until they freaking sink to the bottom. It's fantastic to watch. The bubbles stop. I love that. Oh, it's so good. It's dark, but
this episode of America's Game is going to be the best one ever.
Oh yeah, so good.
Oh man,
what a win!
Yep, yeah, it was fantastic. I'll tell you, one of the things, I would say, man, I love all the guys that we do this stuff with. I just gotta say, one of the things I'll never. We got Steve-O. It's been almost magical since they started 1-6. They've carried the momentum season to season. That game against the Vikings, where Amon-Ra got the touchdown in the end zone at the when the clock ran out, is the one that turned it all around. I was there. I was saying, man, had an extra ticket. He's got awesome club level seats. He brought me there, and when that play happened, I'm watching. I got my video running on the play, and when Amon-Ra scored, I freaked out. I was just, lost my shit. And it was all said and done. I was like, yeah, woo. And I look over, and Sandman videoed me the entire time. This is how cool he is. He just wanted to relish in my joy in the moment rather than on the play and whatever. And he sent me the video. I look at that, and I just absolutely love Sandman for that. But I look at that, and I can relive it. That immense explosion of joy with that victory, and you could tell it was something. It meant more than just a game, right? It was a real turning point for this team, and that's Steve-O has captured it right there. It's magical. Since that game, this team is just unstoppable. It is unstoppable, and it's fantastic, man. This has been great for the fans, great for the team, great for the city. This is what people have been dying for a long time, and I love to see it. I love to see this, man.
Did you see Dan Campbell, his interview, or he was watching game film of Amon-Ra blocking against the Ravens last year? Remember we lost the Ravens, was it 40-some?
Yeah, that was a tough game. Yeah.
Terrible game. Did you ever see the video of Dan Campbell watching Amon-Ra St. Brown blocking during that game?
I didn't see that, no.
So there's a video of him, and in it, he's watching game film of Amon-Ra blocking, and Amon-Ra is just blocking his ass off, right? Just like going 100%. They're down a ton. There's no way they pull off a win. And he's just killing himself. He's so mad, but he's still pushing it. And I look at the Vikings, and I see the opposite of that. At the end of this game, they were just done.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to go home, and I think that just defines our team. That moment was like when I heard that interview, and then when I watched their reaction to their losing, I watched them take a knee at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I was talking to my buddy, and I was like, he said to me, would Dan Campbell ever take a knee at the end of a game? I kind of think no.
No.
It doesn't matter what the score is.
I'm telling you that the last 4 minutes of the game, they weren't playing. They knew they lost. They knew they lost that game, and they'd given up. Dan Campbell's team never would have given up. But if we see them again, they're going to remember that they gave up. And it's going to be that much easier to give up next time because, they just did it to us again, right? It's that mentality like the Lions used to have when, we're down again. Oh, another penalty. That just cost us. God, and it would fall apart, right?
Here we go again.
Yep. This is building that.
We've all had that defeatist mentality in our life.
Yep.
Where there's things that come up and you're just like, I can't do it. I'm done.
Yep.
And Dan Campbell makes you not want to feel that way, And it's funny, it's so applicable to not just football, but to life, not to get more philosophical on it, but it's like, you think about things in your daily life where you're like, I don't want to do this. And then you're like, well, like Dan Campbell, like, just looks at this team and he just doesn't give up on shit. And should I give up? I don't know. Like, it's funny how it's applicable to other things in life. Is, I guess, what
everything about this
I
team
think is so
translates. It does. I mean, like I've talked about it from a leadership perspective, but from a mentality of doing your job kind of perspective, right? The reflection of the city and the ascension of Detroit as a shining jewel in this country of the big cities that are out there. This whole thing is a reflection of the people and the place and the right kind of mentality with which to approach things if you want to be successful and you want to be successful for a long time. They don't shortcut it.
Yeah.
They just take it and they keep going, and they know you'll never beat them. You might knock them down, right? But you'll never ever beat them. And that's a mentality that if you can do that, you'll never lose. You'll never lose.
Yeah. And the only way you lose is if you accept defeat.
Yep.
And they never do.
Yep. 100%.
I mean, the score may be higher on the other team at the end of the game, but they've played Lions football, so they didn't lose.
Yep.
And that's just the way, if as long as they keep doing that. And I'm going to get a little bit on something that has no relation to this but I had a fantasy football game. I was in the championship today, and the other guy had Laporta and I had Gibbs. And do you know how many touchdowns Laporta got Gibbs today?
Make sure you tell him that as often as you can for the entire offseason.
I was messaging him the whole game. I was like, "Oh, another one for me from Laporta. Thanks, man."
Too bad you don't get points for that, huh?
No, that sucks. Really good block, man. Thanks.
Oh man! All right, we're gonna let you go, brother. We got a couple other calls blasting out the lines here, so we're gonna stay with it. All right.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Great talking to you, Chris. Love you guys. You guys do a great job. Have a wonderful new year. Talk to you later.
You too, brother. Thank you. Be good. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. There we are, man. Woof. Ash. The feels. You know what I mean? It's all right there. Oh no, he doesn't know what I mean. You know what I mean? Ash is frozen again. That's okay. Kelt Ward in the chat. This is another statement to the league. It absolutely was. And again, you talk about from an officiating perspective, I think the officiating was kind of crap out there today. Some really ticky-tacky, garbagey calls, but this is what we've always talked about with you've got to be able to beat the officials too. You've got to be able to beat them too. And it looks like we're a team that can beat anything that's on the field when we're playing it. Porter said it during his combine interview. Team guy, good locker room guy. Bring up Mo from the Creek. Mo, we haven't gotten Mo yet. Still looking for the call to come in. And actually the phone's quieted down. Maybe Ash's internet crashed the phones. We'll see. We'll go another minute or two. See if we don't get a call, we'll close it out. It's getting late. I got an early flight. But we're here for you guys. We got you. I hope Mo isn't mad at me. I love Mo. I can't have him mad at me. Let's talk about a couple things. 40 yards for Craig Reynolds. He had almost a 5-yard average, 4.9. Amon-Ra with 77 yards on 6 receptions. Laporta 63 on 7. J-Mo 34 on 6. Let's see. We do have a call here right now. Let's see what's going on. J-Mo with some good stuff today. Hey, caller, what's your name and how you feeling being the number 1 seed in the NFC North? Or the NFC, sorry.
I feel great, fellas. I really do. This is Andy from the West Side.
Andy, how you doing? How far west? Are we talking west side of state or west side of the city?
West side of state.
Okay.
Great. Spring Lake, Port area.
Gotcha. You're Rizland.
Okay. Yeah, he's about 20 miles south of me.
Gotcha.
He's in the Zeeland Holland area,
Mm-hmm.
and I live about 20 miles north of him.
Gotcha. It's good. It's beautiful country over there.
So, yeah. Hey, I will tell you I'll tell you what I think of this game, and what I've noticed in the past month is it just me, or I've seen more teams going for it on 4th down than they normally would in the past. But what that's doing, particularly when you're playing the Lions, is you're playing their game. Minnesota went for it on 4th down. I was like, Detroit is forcing them to play their game.
Yeah.
And other teams just don't. It's not in their DNA, so to speak. So they're tight. They're a little bit, not want to say rattled, but they're not sure of themselves, much like the Lions are on fourth down because they go for it so many thinking times. And it's like in their DNA now, and it's a huge advantage. And when they lined up for the fourth down, Minnesota's amped up really, really hard, and Jared goes hard count, and he gets him to jump. And that was just awesome to see. That was great.
That was crazy.
That's my day. I think the Lions are forcing teams to play their game, and it's
100%.
It's awesome to see. Truly awesome to see.
It really is.
Monster today.
It's part of this bully ball thing. Like the Lions will beat these teams up, and they're like, "We're tough too. We're coming for it. We'll play their game, sure." And then they say, "Well, we'll go on our fourth down." And I think they're right. If they started converting those fourth downs like we do, then it would be a little bit different out there. But they can't, and they haven't been able to. And they're it's not what they were set up to be. They're playing something outside of their game. They're playing the Lions game, and you watch like. I knew it. My wife's like, no, take the 3. I said, they're just drawing them off sides. They're going to draw them off sides. I'm 100% sure they're going to do it. And they absolutely did it. It was
when I saw them lining up on the what is it, early in the fourth quarter, mid-quarter, I was like, Dan takes the points, but I'm thinking, I think he's gonna draw them off sides, and they're gonna be really amped because they saw what we did to the Packers.
Yep.
They saw what we did to the Packers on that fourth down. The whole world saw that. So they were like, okay, we can't let them have it. And sure enough, Goff got him to jump. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I see in the chat, like, they're saying it's hard to hate Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, he seems like a good dude. And he does, but the one thing about him,
he's a good coach.
And this is something Mrs. DLP can judge somebody's character really, really quick. She's like just snapping, always spot on. She called him out though. She said, the thing about him is he's trying to be Dan Campbell. You can see it. The way he talks to the team, he's very much trying to be in the Dan Campbell mold of a coach. And we saw when you try to be something you're not with Matt Patricia. Now, it's a lot better to be someone that the people like because you're going to get a longer runway, but it doesn't mean you'll be successful. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. And I just don't see O'Connell, that kind of coach. He's very precise. He's a surgeon. Whereas Campbell is an in-your-face, this is who we are. We're going to do it our way, whether you like it or not. And that just doesn't come off. That doesn't come off to me as Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell is he's more Sean McVay, more the guy in San Francisco, I can't think of his name, Shanahan, surgeons and tactical.
Yep.
And not to say that Dan isn't tactical, but Dan is tactical in his own way. He's in his own way rather than in the traditional way, so to speak, I guess we could say. So
yep.
He's smart in his own way, and he's crazy like a fox.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. We called him earlier. We called him
very good at making you do what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So, hey, great to have the number 1 seed, guys. I love the show, and I don't want to hold anybody up on the phone. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Hopefully, it may be Minnesota again. Who knows?
We'll see. Whoever it is.
We'll see. We'll see how it rolls.
Whoever it is, we'll beat them.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother.
A lot of fear in me.
Whoever it is, we'll tell them.
Welcome to Detroit.
Talk to you, brother.
Yeah. There you go.
See ya.
Yep. Bye.
All right, there we go. Boy, they're ripping off. They're flying here. Let's keep going. Then they're all back. Ash leaves. The calls leave. Ash comes back. They're all here. Hey, caller, what's your name? How you feeling after this NFC number 1 seed held down by the Detroit Lions?
Hey, like a fan that's been here for my whole life, I'm super glad to see it happen. It's about time, that things fall into place. I just got a quick question. With Terrion Arnold being injured, do you think that Mosley will see the field now?
Does Mosley exist?
Good question.
Does he exist anywhere except as
Have you ever actually seen Mosley? Yeah. Is he a physical person, or is this one of those like union jobs, sanitation?
He disappeared.
Yeah, he did. It's possible. I'm interested in what happens tomorrow, what they say tomorrow, because his with Terrion on his Instagram saying that he's fine. That I'm good. put me in, coach. I'm good. If he's fine, he's fine. Cool. So it makes me less worried. Zeitler's one to keep an eye on. Said it was you could see. He said he has a hammy on the sideline. He's got 2 weeks to get back from that, which is nice. There was who else was it that cramped up out there today? Was it
I did see the hammy.
Anzalone cramped up
for sure.
Yeah, Levi.
Yep. So there was some cramping out there. So I'm
just a calf cramp though. So
yeah. Hammies can suck for a long time. So we'll see how bad it is, but hopefully he can work it out. And again, with a week off to work it out, that means a lot. That means a lot to help heal that a little quicker. So
huge benefit, and he won't really have to worry too much during the practice time. The week before the game, so they can really give him extra rest there.
Yeah, Mark Daly. Mosley got one of those no-show. Oh, go ahead, Ash. Sorry.
I was just going to say the nice thing about a guy like Zeitler is like if he doesn't get any practice between now and the next game, he's still like a 12-year NFL veteran. He's going to know exactly what he's supposed to do. Doesn't matter.
Mosley got one of those no-show jobs they talked about on The Sopranos.
Yep, right. That's exactly what I was talking about.
The other thing is Montgomery coming back will be a great benefit to help Gibbs. I mean, he took a heck of a shot there, but he bounced right back.
Oh,
It seemed like no problem. That was a heck of a hit.
Yeah, I watched
miracles
Goff.
of modern medicine.
I watched Goff after he threw that ball, and like the second he released it, you could see in his face, oh no, and then after the hit, he was like, like you could just, oh God, he felt it. I know. He felt absolutely terrible about that, and he should have seen it. He should have. He didn't see that happen. Yep. But I mean, there's a lot going on when you're quarterback, so I understand. But you can't throw murder balls, especially when you're down a Montgomery. You know what I mean?
Don't want to hurt your guy. But anyway,
still blows my mind that we just watched
to get him back to relieve Gibbs from getting a few hits. And then we need Montgomery for that, that 1 yard run, man, just to pound that middle,
Yeah. Pound it. Aleem would be nice. I'd like to have Aleem.
Yep. Well, thank you, fellas. I'm Jeff from Gladwin. I listen every day, and so I appreciate you guys talking to me. Catch you later.
Yeah, catch you later. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep.
All right, go Lions. Here we go. Let's keep at it. We got more coming. Let's try what we got here. Hey, caller. What's your name? How you feel about them Detroit Lions?
Hey, Chris. Hey, Ash. It is Frosty, the Hype Master General, the Ice Thriller, the Mike. I don't know. I'm too drunk, man. I've had way too much, man. What's going on, boys? Hey.
Is it wrong that I just picture you looking like Steve Harvey because of all every game day?
Probably.
My man works the slack hard every game day. I love it.
Yep, 100%.
I do. I wish that I was both as handsome and successful as Steve Harvey. I'm just saying, man, my life would be different. Oh my God, so many great thoughts about this game. Fun one.
Share with us, brother.
We are more successful this time around than the 91 Lions.
Oh, yeah.
They achieved second seed, got blasted by the commies. We run this show now.
Yeah. This is our baby.
Yeah. Another fun stat, just to toss that out there, with the Lions win tonight, we finally complete the cycle. All four NFC North teams have made 15 wins in the season.
Ooh.
All of us did it.
Wow.
Nice.
I'm just happy because
glad we could do that.
I'm happy we're getting some of the good records now, but it's like every one of the records that the Lions have pulled out historically has been, the running back that ran for 6,000 yards in one game was, Craig Newman against the Detroit Lions in 1947, right? It was always against the Lions or whatever, right?
Right.
Every highlight package just loaded with Lions defenders being so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, it was just one of those crazy things. Actually, a suggestion for a podcast, possibly over the off season here. One of y'all break down just like the amount of records we've broken just this season alone.
Yeah.
It's been insane. It's actually been a little too hard to keep up with. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what? We will.
That have happened.
We got it. We maybe we can start putting that list together in the Slack, because I could use some help, because there's a ton of them and I'm never going to be able to find them all. Yep. That would absolutely, but I mean, we're a long way from the off season still. I mean, right now I'm nervous because I've got all this work.
Brother.
Yeah. Well, I've got all this work I got to do for Senior Bowl. I'm like, oh, shite.
Oh my God. Oh, the nutsest. The wildest. Thought I wanted to finish. We were talking about Hawkinson earlier. Just to kind of answer Doc Zay's question just a little bit more. Hawkinson showcased tonight why we cut him in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You need 5 yards on a 3rd and 6, or sorry, 3rd and 4. He's going to catch that ball at the, right before that first down marker and then not fight for it.
Yep.
He's not going to extend himself out and catch the ball.
Yep.
And, when you really need him to make that play, it's not that guy. And man, was that on display tonight. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow. And I mean, we can feel the whole defense with our IR unit. And they couldn't do anything.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's incredible what we've been able to do.
It might even be almost a better defense than we had last year. Just off our IR guys this year.
Well, I mean, that is true. I mean, oh my God, I was just talking to a few of Lions fans myself, just over this last week. I've been saying since, and this is the part that's floored me, I've been saying since the Stafford years that all we need is a defense that isn't last. A defense that just isn't last in anything, and we could go somewhere. We could do something. And last year, we somehow made it to the NFC Championship game, and now this year,
got off the right time.
Yeah.
We're not last.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. It's fantastic. It is great to be a Lions fan. It is great to be a Detroit Lion. It is top of the world, top of the NFC, soon top of the NFL. We're gonna break Vegas. We're gonna break it all. It's incredible.
The minute they announced the officiating crew, I was worried.
Me too.
Like, oh man, Vegas really wants their money back. They want it so bad.
Oh man. Oh my. Check this out. Will Wright, and I'm not trying to dog you here, brother. I feel like AG is more important than Ben. Dude, I'm talking like 15 months ago, everyone wanted AG fired. 14 months ago, they wanted him fired.
I will personally own that I have been an AG doubter. And just to explain a little bit of that side, just a little bit, there have been times over the last couple of years where it's like, okay, man, we're getting destroyed. AG doesn't have the players. Sure, I get it. But then there'd be a couple of games, 1 or 2 games, maybe back-to-back, maybe every other hour, where it's just like, wow, where did this defense come from? Ooh, he can really coach them up.
Yep.
Why doesn't he fucking do that every game? What is he doing?
Well, because he doesn't have the players, right? I mean, the beginning of the season, this defense was fire, and then they started, the injuries started, and it was like, oh no, and that's the thing. AG was the last one to get his toys, right? They knew, because he knew everybody was out on Goff. Everyone was, we need Malik Willis. Who saw Malik play today? we need
Willis, man. I was there.
We need Malik, and it's like, no, you just give some toys to Goff in the offense, and all of a sudden we're in great shape. And finally, Glenn was he was in the land of misfit toys for a long time, and all of a sudden he's got his toys, and it's like, oh wow. he can do it. And now he can do it with the other pieces, with these substitute pieces. He can make it happen because he was working wonders with the other guys, right? With what he had before. Right. So it's fantastic. He's going to do really well no matter where he goes. I feel like if I was him, it would be hard to leave because I finally got all my toys. And some of them got broke this year, but the replacements are coming like next year. I just feel like next year AG could seal his fate as a top tier, top dollar coach anywhere he wants because he's going to have Darius, Reeder, Aleem, Hutch, Anzalone maybe, Campbell, right? I mean, JRM. He's going to have Terrion. He's going to have Rakestraw. He's going to have Kirby. You think of all the toys that he has, it may be worthwhile to spend a year. I'm not saying he will, but boy, oh boy, he's going to have all the things to cement his mark in history.
And now I'm just laughing at the idea of 4 years ago, thinking of JRM as a top player on our defense.
Yeah.
But now here we are. We're just like, yeah, that guy, he's here. Woo!
He's a special team Pro Bowler.
It's a good guy to have. Good blue guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm not going to take up too much more time because I can vouch for how hard it was to get on these phones tonight. One thing I wanted to say was Kendall Vildor, lockdown specialist, the hero we needed and the one we deserved. Absolutely.
Love Kendall Vildor tonight and the redemption arc. People just give the man his flowers. He deserves them. You gave him hell when he made his mistakes. That's fine. Give him his flowers. Give the man some love. He deserves it. He played his heart out tonight, and he did it while he watched the guy go out on a cart. You know what I mean? So love it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be great. It doesn't sound like TA's injury is too serious, so he's got 2 weeks. He should be back. Now, man, I am just deep in whiskey right now, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Have a good night and fucking go Lions, and I look forward to listening to the rest of this podcast. See you later, guys.
Awesome, brother. We'll talk to you.
Peace, brother.
See you. All right. Trell Williams earned his money tonight. That's somebody we haven't talked enough about in the this year is Terrell Williams and what he's brought to this team because he's been absolutely fantastic with that front seven. Hey, caller, what's your name and how you feeling about being the number one team in the NFC?
Yeah, freaking pretty sweet, I'm telling you.
It is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic, man. What a world. What a beautiful world.
Yeah, and it's complimentary football as usual.
Yeah.
You know, they trash our defense the whole freaking time. And what do? They step out and show up. And it's been that way all year.
Yeah, it really has. And the other thing I want to just kind of bridge between the last call and this one about everyone stepping up, the whole next man up thing, we've heard about that for years and years and years, and every team says it. But this team has done it. It has done it like no other team that I've seen before. And this coaching staff, these players, they deserve a shit ton of credit, man, because it's not been an easy road to greatness, but they've done greatness, and there's more to come, but they've done greatness thus far, and they've done it with a patchwork of guys. I mean, he's signing guys, and they're playing 3 days later, and they still just keep churning out victories. It's a testament to the organization, the players, and the eye for talent. I mean, just fantastic to see a team be able to pull together like this.
Absolutely. And the great thing about it is they sit there and you can even tell, even with Dan's press conferences, he promotes it. He's like, bring this shit on. I want this. I want the challenge. And you can see it it just bleeds down into the team. They love this challenge. This is what they want. And coaches don't do that. You know, they're like, oh, well, we'll try this or that. But no, this is solid.
Yeah, 100%. This is where I'm going to go back to the Max Crosby thing when people say throw every draft pick we got at Max Crosby. Actually, our first round's a second round anyway. Just give it away. And it's like, well, then that means our second round's a third round, right? Is a third round the best you want to get for 2 years as far as your draft picks? I mean, is that what you're thinking? And then if he gets hurt, like he did,
he gets me 17 sacks a year. Yes,
but it wouldn't have been this year. It wouldn't have been this year. No. I mean, you can't say for sure he would have got hurt, but that was my thing. If he's down, now you have no cap, no money, no availability to do anything, and you're screwed next year and you're after. Yep, 100%.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, they're doing this the right way, and people don't sit there and put the value on coaching that they should, because that's where you're making it. You've got second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round players here making contributions to this team, and now you're not going out and buying a free agent.
Yep.
Where you're, like you said, you're spending 2-3 first rounds for Max Crosby, which is a great player, but you know what? It's got to match us, and that's where it works out perfect. That's where this team is solid, is in the coaching and the development that they do with these players.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's, I can't fault people for not trusting coaching because of how many years player development was so poorly done here. And it got lip service, and sometimes it actually looked like it was happening, and then you realize it's always when it's too late, right? Oh no, that's not the case. But we're seeing it real time. We're absolutely seeing the fruits of the labor of this coaching staff and what these players can do, and how they can change schematically to make a week to week plan with what fits with who they have with the personnel, and it's really something. It's all, it's the whole package. It's absolutely the whole package, man.
Oh, yeah. I've been around since before the 90s, and to see this, it's even different from then, because then it just feels different, because you walk into a game like tonight, and even my wife and I were just like a little hesitant on the game, right? We still had that itching in the back of our heads, right? And they never lost this. They never got behind in this game. The momentum never changed in this game. They were steady. The offense was lacking, but the defense made up, and they kept chugging along.
Yeah.
And that's, they never lost the momentum. They kept it straight.
Yep. 100%. They never I don't think they were ever down. And if they were, it wasn't much, but they never let up. And when the defense couldn't get it done, and like those stands inside the 10, those defensive stands.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
When you're Jared Goff and you're having a little bit of trouble getting started, and you can see your defense doing that for you, it's going to do nothing but fire you up, man. And they did it. They absolutely did it. I love to see, because we, in the chat there, Frosty I was told we'd have a shootout. It wasn't, it wasn't that.
Everybody was calling.
Wow, man. Wow. But Frosty did hit us with a super chat. He said also he didn't mention, but wow, I wasn't expecting that first half. No, not at all. Not at all.
Right. A shutdown. 9 fucking points for an awesome, a legitimate awesome offense. And they hold them to 9 points. You can't, I'm sorry. It's like, Collinsworth can, suck a bag of dicks, because they sit there and do this shit to, that's the media, the national media has got their pretty boys. And I've watched not only Lions games, I've watched all other games, and you see who they pick and choose. They pick their teams, and we're not one of them. And you've seen it for decades. You know what? Good. We're sitting there hosting the Lombardi Trophy in a couple months. We'll see how they laugh then.
Yeah, 100%. Ooh, she'll dig in. Levi, he's got a throw back there. We've come a long way, baby.
Yes, we have.
V-Slimes.
And you know what? I agree with you, Chris, 100%. You sit there and enjoy this. Soak it in. teabag those motherfuckers. We're undefeated in the division.
Yep.
All right. They don't mention that. We got the number 1 seed. We won the division, but we're undefeated. You know how hard it is to win 2 games against an NFL team, and then they sit there and these guys are awesome. Proud of these boys,
dude. They
take it and they run with it.
The cope and the seethe, not just from other fans, but the players on the other division teams. Right? It is over 9,000. It is incredible. Oh, Kirby's dirty. Even Stafford with his fat mouth saying dumb shit and his dumb wife. Sorry, I'm over it now. That was the last one for me. That was it. Sorry. I had so much respect for him, but when he started talking Kirby's not gotten a fine. He's not dirty. I mean, I saw like 3-4 low hits on our guys today from the Vikings who are all crying dirty. All that is cope. It's cope and seethe of a loser. Period.
Right. And the funny thing is that they sit there and bitch and whine about this. But the thing is where are you giving our defenders places to hit on receivers now? You can't go low because they throw a flag on that. You can't go high because they throw a flag on that. So you know what? They've got to play the game the way they play the game. And, that's what the NFL is. They're trying to protect players, and, that's, it's a double-edged sword. It's great. Okay, it's nice. We want to protect them. But you've seen how many knee injuries have come up just in this year.
Yep.
All right, head injuries are down.
Yep.
Knee injuries are up. I wonder why.
Yep.
Well, because they aren't aiming at the head anymore. And you're exactly right. That's where it's at. And it's it's a contact sport. At some point in time, the NFL is going to have to realize that, you know what? We pay these guys millions of dollars to play the game. They love the game. I played the game for over 10 years, and outside, drooling every once in a while, I'm okay. So, that you play the game, and that's the way they're going to be.
Yep.
Love the game.
I mean, there's players think that Kirby's a dirty player. That's that cope. That's that seethe that I talked about.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
That's exactly what. And and this is I told people, the Lions, the other folk, they're going to hate you. You're going to get hated. You're feeling the love early, like, oh yeah, oh that's great. They're going to hate you.
Such a feel-good story.
Yeah. Oh, well, they've been my second team. I feel you finally deserve it after all that time. Fuck you, right? Fuck you. But
exactly.
And I knew they were going to turn once it actually came, and they couldn't stand on their virtue signal mount of pity and look down on it. And now it's like, oh, we hate you, you sons of bitches, and all the shit talk started. Yeah. You could have been the nicest person in the world, and it's going to start. Forget it. Take it, accept it, and own it, and be a dick. Be a dick to those people. They deserve it. They've done it for decades. Be that arrogant, big sacked asshole. Put your balls in a wheelbarrow, wheel it up, throw it on their dinner table, and start sucking, because they deserve it. And if you don't, if you wait till after, you won't get the joy. You won't get as much joy. This is the time to enjoy it. Just pull that sack out and slap it on.
Yeah, and you look at it, and it's the same thing as like the Patriots. This is our 15 minutes of fame.
Yep.
Right? Because that's the way it is. And that's the cyclical thing of the NFL. So enjoy it and grasp it and bask in it. We're sitting out here. My wife and I went out to her dad's grave because that was his last, one of his last things was he wanted to see the Lions win. And we toasted him because, of the records they were doing, and we're hoping to keep doing that. And, you bask in this because it's not going to last long.
Oh, well, here's the thing. With Brad Holmes at the helm and this coaching staff and the ability of Dan Campbell to put these kind of staffs together from year to year, it's 15 years of fame, baby. I think this team is going to have dynasty level hate by the time it's all over.
You get obnoxious like we've already won 7.
I agree.
Yeah, we might as well, because when we win 7, we'll have been there. Then we can act like
Exactly. Well, and the other thing is, you look at this and it's like they aren't developing players, right? They're developing coaches.
Yep.
Because we hope to God that AG and Ben stay. But, they've already said, you know what? We're promoting this. If they want to go, we're going to promote it and help them go. But in the same respect, you've got, we're going to bring people up. And so, that's the right way to run the organization. A lot of these organizations don't do that. So I agree with you. I think we're looking at a 10 to 15 years, as long as they keep pace and they stay the course.
Yep.
That's one thing I think we're going to see a lot of over the course of the next couple decades is the Dan Campbell coaching tree is going to explode because the methodology that is being taught is the right methodology for coaches. You have to develop these guys, and the NFL has turned into a league where most of these coaches don't do that. They get a guy from college, and that's what the guy is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just always struck me as the stupidest possible way to go about doing this job is to not put the time in to develop your guys. Like, whatever time you have, make your guys better.
Right.
That's your effing job. And so many of these guys just don't see it that way, and it makes no sense.
Right. And you're absolutely right. It makes absolutely no sense because they sit there and they get these, the kids, literally, teenagers from college.
Yep.
And, they think, okay, you're done developing. Boom, you're where you're at. And then, and then these organizations that go out and go, I won't mention any names, Bears, that go out and sit there and buy free agency. Yep. Well, you can't do that in a salary cap era.
No.
You're good for maybe a year, right? But you're screwed because if you don't make it, you're stuck with their salary. And now you got, you got to sit there and wheel and deal. Not to mention that if you do put together a good team, one of those guys get, hurt, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because now you have no backups because you're paying your high price first string person.
And you're not the team with $95 million in salary cap. That's going to break Vegas's back because you're favored to win the Super Bowl. Think about that. Think about being the team that's number one in the NFC going into the playoffs, favored to win the Super Bowl. And, oh, by the way, next year you're starting off with $95 million in cap.
Yep. And you've already signed some major players.
Aleem, Jared.
Yep.
I mean, the down the line. Yeah.
Demo.
Yep.
And and that's the thing. It's like and you won't get me, I buy into the fact that, like on the ref end of it, they're there to make games close, to help with ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So you watch the games and you can see it, somebody starts getting up, boom, it goes against, and I think, Dan's done an awesome job with that. He's like, fuck it. I don't give a shit. And that is a good attitude to take, and they bought in and they're in it. And, I think it was more important to have this buy for us on more of a rest standpoint.
Yep.
I was honestly thinking that we were in a win-win situation because if we lost, how pissed off that team gets and the tear that they would have gone through on the lower seed people. So I think they play, good complementary football, and I've never seen this, and I not only in the Lions, but in the teams in general. I really believe you're right, Chris, that this is a 10 to 15 year dynasty that we're witnessing right now.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and we, hey, like you said, we're going to ride this, right to the end, and whatever happens. I think we're going to have a lot of fun games in Ford Field now. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
So
all the way till New Orleans.
Strap in.
All the way to New Orleans.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's only getting more expensive to go, folks. It's only getting more expensive.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. It's a great ride. I'm enjoying it. We're gonna have a good time, and win, lose, draw, this team is on a right path. So, and anybody that sits there and I don't know. I don't know if I think AG sold his soul to the devil, because what he's been doing in the last 3 months.
It's
I
madness.
was at the Dallas game.
Yeah.
And it was like, from then national media was like, oh, that was the Lions season. No, it's oh well. And they've done nothing but go on a tear.
Yep. They've been done nothing but fuck, man. Nothing but fuck.
Defense just had to be good enough.
Absolutely. Exactly. I love it.
They're the wingman. And they've been the wingman all year.
Yep. Exactly.
It's taking the duffs left and right.
Great.
All right. Well, hey, man, we're gonna let you go. We've been at this a little over 2 hours now. I got an early morning flight. I've got to pack this down and pack everything else up. Thank you for calling in, man. Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you guys, and you know what? I appreciate you guys. Really, you guys do an awesome job. Ash, love the breakdowns on that. If you get back to that, would love it. I really enjoy the breakdown films. So
me too, Ash.
Take it easy, be safe, and look forward to listening to you in next week. Oh wait, no, I mean 2 weeks from now. So have a good week off.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, brother. We'll see you.
Just to throw a curveball, I'll probably make videos all week.
I like that. I love that.
Oh, there's no games? Now I got something to say.
And so folks know for next week, there will be
no post-game show?
No. This one, just really quick. My dad's in the hospital now, so get well, pops. Get well, pops. So I'm not doing a show next week. There's also not going to be a post game show, but Riz is doing videos. Smells like Ash might do a couple of videos. So we'll see what happens.
Probably drop a couple of videos this week. Yeah.
See what happens. But after this week, we will Riz and I will be back, and we'll have then the post game show. Because what? Because we need another win. We need another win all the way through New Orleans. We're going to rock this out. I can't go to any more Lions games. I can't go to the Super Bowl. I can't do anything because I'm stuck in this chair after every game through the Super Bowl.
Well, we could do a post-game show after the Super Bowl if we both went.
Well, are you asking?
I'm just saying, if everyone signs up for Patreon who watches this video, you guys could make that happen. That's all I'm saying. Sign up for 1 month to Patreon, and we, that's all I'm saying. Just $5. Everyone who watches this video throws $5 in the Patreon. We can do a post-game show from New Orleans.
Adam, great question. What happened to Bish and Brown? 100% my fault. Ash was out. I was doing a bunch of other stuff. I didn't see their last show come through. They did a great show too. It was full of. I mean, it was one of their
so good.
It's so
much. Of course, it's the one we don't get posted.
Yeah, I owe them a massive apology. It's me. So there we go. Thanks everyone for the well wishes for Dad. He's gonna do it. I know we'll be fine. We'll get through there. So with that, I want to tell everyone, remember, don't forget about us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Throw all your money in there so we can do a post game show from the Super Bowl. We got the Senior Bowl to warm up for it. Why not?
Sign up for 1 month. Yeah, you got $5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, get access to the Slack. Hang out
chat.
with
You can be part of our Super Bowl chat. Well, I will be on my phone at the Super Bowl chatting in the Slack.
You know what?
Everybody
Ash,
who's been in there knows how much of an addict I am.
We actually have a bye week this week. We should post-mortem put the Bish and Brown episode up with like a clear hey, Chris screwed up. Just as an opening, Chris screwed up, but I want you guys to see how smart these guys are after the fact. We should do that. Right. We should absolutely do that because it was a really.
That's coming out Tuesday.
All right, there we go.
Say right now that will come out Tuesday morning. That is happening.
Awesome. So, all right. So there's a Patreon. Don't forget about that. Like, subscribe. We like it when you do that. Appreciate that very, very much.
Record a preamble. So people don't get very confused who we're listening right now.
Yeah.
Because, like, let's face it, we're 2.5 hours in. Nobody's listening anymore.
No. Oh, yeah, they are. Everyone's listening still. We still got huge numbers. It's the biggest rally ever.
Actually, yeah, there's still like 480 people watching right now.
I'm showing 505. You guys are great. Guys and gals, we love you. Thank you.
Like, I love you. I love you, but you're insane.
That's why. Make sure to follow us on Twitter.
I'll let you finish the end. Yeah.
At DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast. Give us that follow. We're also DET Lions Podcast on that Blue Sky, if that's where you're hanging out these days. Give us a call on Skype at Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word, Detroit Lions Podcast, or on the Lions line at 248-782-8384. As I mentioned earlier, 248 Rub You Fug. Be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the podcast because, Ash, they do that, and then what happens?
We show up in some kind of box automatically.
Sometimes we're late. Thank you for tuning in, and we're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs. Those days are long gone because we have no problems. And we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection. Love you all. Number one in the NFC.